Remember, if you put in a lot of effort into your sock account, you don't want your sock account to get immediately busted by having a fake or reverse image search identifying you as somebody else or a fake person. So this is a great idea to come in here and have an image, fake persona, etc. This person does not exist. Once you do that, it is recommended that you get things or start tying this person to accounts that do not tie back to you whatsoever. That could mean using a laptop that you would use specifically for your investigations that does not have any, you would never log into your personal Twitter, your personal Facebook, whatever accounts you have, you would never log in on that account. It would never tie to you. Okay. That could mean also going out and getting a burner phone. A lot of people in OSINT recommend having a burner phone if you're doing investigations. Now, this course isn't related specifically to investigations. As stated earlier, I'm not an investigator, though I have done some investigation work. This is just a broad view of OSINT as a whole. There are much deeper topics on this subject. But what we can do is say we want to go out and buy a cell phone. We can have this privacy.com credit card. Okay, we can go buy a burner phone. We can use a credit card like this. And if you were to log in or sign up to create an account here, what you can see behind the scenes is that you have the ability to create credit cards. Let me actually bring this up. Okay, so here's an account I created. And what we have here is the ability to fund this card, okay? And then you have a virtual credit card. And you can have as many virtual credit cards as you want. This gives you the ability to have a spending limit, to have, say, like there's a subscription you want to try out for $9.99, just as an example, and you only want to try it out for a month. We're so terrible with subscriptions sometimes. We just let them go. I've got an Audible subscription that I have just let sit and charge me $15 a month for the last 5 months now that I still need to cancel. This would be a great alternative. You use a virtual card. It goes to charge you the second month. It doesn't work. You have your a card that doesn't tie to your name or your identity or anything else. It's all virtual. This is perfect. So say you want to buy a burner phone. Say you want to buy a SIM card for that burner phone. Now you'll see that people recommend Mint. You can use a Mint SIM to use in your phone. You can get it off Amazon and you could take that path. And this is exactly what this person recommends here, right? They recommend using a Mint mobile setup. They're fairly cheap. They said it's $5 on Amazon to get 2 SIM cards. You can use your phone then to go and use it as a phone verification method. So if we think about like Facebook or sometimes Twitter, any of those things, you're going to want to set up either verification or 2-factor or whatever. And the goal here is to use these accounts to actually, or use this phone to actually sign up for it. As soon as you're done signing up, you change those over to something that you control, like a Google Voice account, and then you get rid of the SIM card. You never have access to that SIM card again, destroyed. Nothing is related to you. Okay, again, highly recommend reading this. But the idea here is that you create things that don't tie back to you. So with that being said, the other thing that's important to talk about are IP addresses. Ideally, you do not want to do this on your own IP address. Okay, you do not want this to tie back to you. When you're creating these accounts, you don't want to tie back to you. You could, in theory, use a VPN. The issue with VPNs is places like Facebook and other sites might pick it up that you're on a VPN, want additional verification, and then you're kind of SOL if you can't provide that because you have a fake account. So you need to be cautious about using VPNs. Try to identify VPNs that maybe would work if you're trying to create a full SOC account. Ideally, it should be in the location that you're trying to do it in. So if you're doing say you're in St. Louis, Missouri in the United States. If you're in St. Louis, you're saying your character's from St. Louis, then you should ideally use a VPN that can get you into St. Louis and create those accounts so that you look like you are coming from where you are. Same thing with the phone number. You should try to get a phone number out of St. Louis. Make your persona as legitimate as possible. Okay, now mobile networks work really great. You don't have to be on your home network. You can be on a mobile if you can't use a VPN or if that's getting picked up. So just think about things, try to create them through. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to practice. I want you to follow this setup as best as you can. Don't go buy a burner phone. Don't go do any of that unless you absolutely want to practice this full-fledged. Again, we're not going into the weeds in this course. We're scratching the surface. If this interests you, then dig deeper, go further. I fully encourage it. But for right now, just go create a fake persona. Come into the random name generator, create a fake persona, create a fake picture, make an account, make a Twitter, make a Facebook, make anything that you would want. Don't worry so much about the IP address. Don't worry so much about the phone number. I will tell you, this is from personal experience. The very first sock puppet account that I created, I used it on Facebook. Okay. This is a life lesson. I used it on Facebook. And then I never had any issues with it until the day that I logged into Facebook with my phone. Immediately, it started pulling down contacts and people who I may know. And that ties me immediately to those other people from my phone. Okay. And guess what happens on the other side? People that I know or may know are seeing me pop up as who they may know. And this person doesn't exist, obviously, but why am I showing up? So you need to be very cautious about not logging in with your phone, not logging in anywhere that is not tied to you. Don't search people on your sock Facebook account if you don't need to. Don't search people that are related to you or anything. Use a separate account for that, even if you have to. But think about creating a Twitter, a Facebook, maybe an Instagram, maybe a LinkedIn. You can create these accounts. For the purpose of this course, I'm going to be straightforward with you. I'm going to use my own personal accounts. We're going to do OSINT on my own personal accounts. I'm going to use my Twitter account when we're doing Twitter. I'm going to use, I don't have a Facebook, so I will create a Facebook account, but I'll show you how to search through things using my own stuff. But for the purpose of correct OPSEC, for the purpose of doing this the right way, you should be thinking about the things I'm telling you. Read through these 3 articles. That is definitely your homework. Read through these 3 articles. Take time. Don't just jump into the next video. Really take time to think about how you create a sock puppet, how you would go about it, and understand why it's important. Okay, understand why it's important. There's more meaning to a sock puppet beyond OSINT investigation. There's more meaning beyond this course. I just want you to understand why we're doing it, what the purpose is, and how you can do it effectively. Okay, so from here, we're going to go ahead and move on into our actual OSINT stuff. So we're going to start off with some search engine OSINT, and I'll see you in the next section when we dig into that. Now on to search engine operators and search engine OSINT. So what we're going to be looking at is pretty much the first step that I would take when I'm looking up somebody or something or a business or whatever it is that I'm investigating or researching. I typically go out to a search engine. Usually my preference is Google. Here in a second, I'm going to show you a bunch of different search engines. We'll kind of talk through them and we'll talk through the different operators. And of course, I will provide references and I'll provide even some cheat sheets for you to look through these different operators and search engines, and you can apply those how you see fit. So let's go ahead and switch over. For this part of the course, I'm going to start using my Linux machine. There's no expectation for you to use that. I'm just using that because I have my Firefox, and we're going to eventually transition into Linux a little bit later. But for right now, I'm just using the browser. You can use it pretty much wherever you want. So what I've gone ahead and done right now is I've searched my name. I've searched my name here in Google. I've searched it in DuckDuckGo, in Bing, Yandex, and then a couple more search engines down here, okay? So I've got Baidu. Actually, this is just Yandex operator. So I want to show you the results and kind of why maybe I have some preference towards Google, but I'm searching myself. So I'm just searching my name here into Google. You can search me if you want. You can search yourself, however you want to do this. And what comes up is Twitter, LinkedIn, Udemy. These are all me. Innocent Lies Foundation, that's me. All of these are me. The Cyber Mentor, Veteran Sec, Wild West Hacking Fest, Reddit. Yep, this is all about me. The only thing that's not me is this here. Searches related to me, my net worth, Udemy, age, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, OSCP. So yeah, these are pretty much all about me. If you come over to DuckDuckGo, which is more of a privacy-based search engine, it kind of gets a little bit different here. You could see that it comes back with me pretty much right away, and then you see Twitter, LinkedIn, Innocent Lives Foundation again. Then we get Herbalife, somebody in South Carolina, a Dr. Heath Adams from Tasmania, and then a bunch of different pictures, most of which are not me. So it gets interesting. It's not really picking me up as much as it was. Now I'm down here again. Some of the other ones down here, TCM Security, Udemy, those would be me. Any of these are not related to me whatsoever. So I do think that Google does a better job. And you'll see again here, I'll kind of breeze through this. The first few are me. This presentation is actually me. These are not. And then again, looks like it goes to South Carolina and just different kind of more of people search, people OSINT record type deal, which we'll get into a bunch of these later. But it's picking up other people, it looks like. Yandex is a Russian-based search engine. It actually does a pretty good job of picking me up. In the next section, we'll kind of talk about Yandex and where I find it more important, or where I find it more useful in terms of being a search engine. But for now, I don't really use Yandex for operator searching. I use it more for image searching, which is the next section. And then here you'll see Baidu. I don't really show up. This is more of Asian based. And it doesn't do a very good job, in my opinion, for if you're searching anything US based or even European based. I don't find this to be very great, but I wanted to point it out because obviously we will have Asian students if you use Baidu. Great. A lot of the operators I'm going to show you pretty much flow through to all of these. Okay, so I'm going to search on Google, but most of these flow through across the board. Again, I'll provide references and resources so that you can go ahead and check these search engines out. Try it on your favorite search engine. Give it a go. For the most part, everything's the same. There are some slight tweaks in operators, but for most of what I'm going to show you holds true. Okay, so let's go back to Google. Now, we could take a look at some things. I want to search, and we'll just go through my life recently. So in my life recently, I am going to go back to undergrad. I'm working on getting some classes for my PhD, and I am planning on attending WGU. So WGU is the university. Now with WGU, there's a bunch of courses that are in this curriculum, and I kind of want to know more about those courses. I kind of want to research those courses and find out information. And what I might do is I might say something like WGU Calc 1. Like I have to take Calculus 1, right? So Calculus 1 and search that. Now what should come back is a WGU page. You can see that. There's Reddit, there's videos on YouTube, there's a course hero. So it's kind of just all over the place. There's some flashcards. And what I kind of want to find out is, well, what is WGU's course called? Well, it looks like, if you ask me, well, we see C282 and then we see a C958. So I'm thinking within the last year or two here, it says 958. So maybe here I want to say something like WGU C958, because we might get some different returns on those results. And now you're seeing, okay, so we're getting calculus, calculus, calculus. And maybe because we searched Calc 1, we didn't get all of these. So we're getting different types of pages here just by changing our search results just a little bit. Another thing that we can do is say, like, I really don't care about seeing WGU's website unless I want to see the course study. Like maybe I am after WGU, maybe I am after some other things. But here I'm actually interested in Reddit. So I might type in Reddit, which will help a little bit. Like it'll bring up Reddit posts, but it might start bringing up other posts that aren't via Reddit. So what I like to do here, if I'm searching something, I might just say cite Reddit. Okay, so you type in cite Reddit, and I messed that up. Reddit.com would be the correct one. Cite reddit.com. And then you come in here and you see, okay, now all we're going to get are Reddit websites. Okay, Reddit websites only. So anything that's a reddit.com, we're going to come here and we're going to see. So now I can say, okay, WGU C958 cite reddit.com. Maybe I want it to include, maybe I want to say, I want everything included to say WGU and C958. Maybe I want it to be like that. Okay, so now it might change things out. What we're looking for is the term WGU, which is showing here in the address bar, and then it's also going to control with C958, which is going to show somewhere in here. So somewhere in here is C958 and WGU. Now, maybe instead of saying and with the operators, I want to just have these combined. I want this search term to be like this. So it has to be in this order. This is specific. We're putting quotes around it. So we say WGU C958, and we don't find anything. All right, so, but here's an example. You see the C958 calculus. So if we typed in C958 calculus, just like this on Reddit, now we're going to find some stuff where it shows C958 calculus in this order. Okay, so we can narrow down searches like this, and it's really nice. So we might come in here, and now I can go to specifically what I want to see on this Reddit page. And there could be something like, I know for a fact. Let's take away this. But I know for a fact that there is a professor that is on YouTube called Professor Leonard for this. Okay, and Professor Leonard teaches calculus. He's known as a good resource for teaching calculus, and a lot of people use him at WGU. Maybe I want to find every post on Reddit that references calculus and Professor Leonard, or maybe just C958, because just like that. And let's see what we get. We get 139 results. Okay, but now we see, okay, Professor Leonard, it's in here. C958 is in here. If we wanted WGU to be in there as well, we could say and WGU and just like this. Now we have conditional operators. We could say C958 or Professor Leonard on Reddit. So maybe we bring up different pages. So look, this one now has changed. This has nothing to do with WGU. Somebody's just saying Professor Leonard is better than Khan Academy when it comes to calculus. Okay, and then somebody's talking about they like somebody else better than Professor Leonard. Nothing related to WGU here because we changed that or operator, right? So these things matter. These things change. There's a lot of different things that we can do with these operators. Now, this is a WGU example, but maybe we want to look at something different. Maybe we want to put a wildcard in. Maybe you want to look for me. You know, I'm Heath Adams. You're going to put me in a quote. And you see people call me the cyber mentor, but maybe you're like, I don't remember what they call him. Maybe, you know, he's the something mentor. You could say something like the wildcard mentor. And that will start bringing up anything with that wildcard there. So you can wildcard here and look for the and mentor, and you'll see cyber comes up. Okay, this is another way to look for different things. Now, we can start getting investigative. Say I'm looking for an organization. I'm going to pick on Tesla. I like picking on Tesla because I love Tesla. Say I'm looking for Tesla. And this is actually something that happened. I was reading in a bug bounty not that long ago. There was a bug that happened where somebody was searching for passwords on Google for Tesla. They happened to find one that hit the search engine. It literally hit within like a day or two of them finding it. And it was only there for a day or two. They found it. It was credentials that allowed them to log into, I believe, a help desk type deal, like a ServiceNow. And they got into their ticketing system and they gained access to sensitive information at Tesla. And you can absolutely do this with the search engine. So I kind of want to show you now how we could take a search engine and start maybe hunting a password or hunting something along those lines. So what we might do here is say we're looking at Tesla. So we know we want to look at site Tesla. All right, so sitetesla.com. And maybe we'll want to look for the word password. And that's going to bring up some, it's okay. We get the reset your password. This is going to be perhaps not really great for us. We could probably improve this, right? Maybe we're not going to look for the word password in a regular website. Like we're not going to look for it here. Maybe instead we want to look for it on like, I don't know, a PDF or maybe like a docx or maybe an Excel or CSV. So we can come in here and say like file type. Okay. And now we could say file type PDF. So what we're searching is we're saying, hey, I want to look for the word password in the site Tesla with the file type of PDF. Hit enter. You get 83 results. Now all we're seeing are PDFs with the word password. Now PDF might not be the best one. Maybe, they stored it in an Excel document. So XLSX like this, hit enter, and let's see. We got nothing back. All right, so that didn't work. Maybe we can try something else. What if we just deleted the term password? Just as an example. Okay, and what's coming back is that there's absolutely no Excel type files here on Tesla. So that's interesting. But if we were to search this, maybe we'll search like docx instead. Okay, there's two files here. There's an investor relations file in residential electric vehicle. Okay, so nothing great here. But some ideas that we might do is we might say something like XLSX, we might say password. And maybe password's not it. Maybe it's pass, like this. Or maybe we're looking for PWD or something along those lines. You have to think not just the word password, but other alternatives of it. Okay, so you can start really narrowing down. But you don't have to be looking for just a password in an Excel document. You could perhaps just find a sensitive document here. I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff pop up when I'm looking, and you don't have to limit it to the website. You could say, hey, I want to look at PWD XLSX for anything that just says Tesla.com in it. Okay, and see what happens there. We get one result. So here's an Excel file from the EPA.gov. There's PWD ID, and we have no idea what this is. So we might want to dig into that. We might want to say something like pass in here. And this is how I would research this. This is literally how I would go. If I had a client, I would look through for this client. I would say, can I find a password related to anything that they have, anything sensitive that they're leaking? Are there any documents out there that might be of interest to us? And go through all of these types of deals. Now, like I said, there was a bug bounty that was found not that long ago just by doing this same methodology. Now, there's more things that we can do. Say that we're looking for subdomains of a website. Now, if you're not familiar with subdomains, you have like a www.tesla.com, but I also saw something come up like ir.tesla.com or forms.tesla.com. These are all subdomains of the tesla.com website. So what you can do is you could say, hey, I want to look at site tesla.com, but I really don't care for the www. Please don't show me anything with www in it. And now you can see that takes out anything that had www in the front. So we have shop, we have forms, Appalizer or app player, more shop, more forms. Maybe, I know about the forms. I don't care about the forms. They're wasting space in my search results. Let's take those out. And look, 61,000 just went down to 7980. So now we get shop, and you could keep going through here. Now, like we found a live stream API. So this is a good way to come through using Google and just finding potential subdomains here that we didn't know about. If we're investigating a website and we're doing some sort of investigation there, which we'll cover website OSINT later on in the course, but these are just kind of overviews of how you can take these and just kind of manipulate that. But it's the same thing. Like if you wanted to search for me again, say search for Heath Adams, but you don't want anything related to the Cyber Mentor, maybe you can get rid of that. Maybe you can get rid of also the word mentor and just kind of eliminate a lot of these things. So where have I been potentially, or maybe you don't even want me. You don't want anything to deal with me. You want somebody else. Okay, now you're pulling up Heath Adams Partners and Lawyers. Remember, we were seeing that on other pages. Dr. Heath Adams on Facebook, scholar, cardiologist. So now you're starting to see different people, different results. I'm not here anymore because you took me out of the equation. So these are just, again, different operators that you can use and throw into the mix that would be incredibly useful. You just have to think about the logic behind how you're going to do things. Now, there's a couple more that I want to show you before we wrap it up here. So we can do something called in title, in URL, in text. I like saying things like this. Like, look, we could look for in text. So we're say in text password. I want to see if there's anything related to me with password in the text. So you're going to come through here and see what do I have related to password. So I've got some things here with breach parse, which is a tool I wrote, some things that we were talking on Twitter. I was saying something about password on Twitter. Now this could be a way to search through my Twitter if you wanted to. You could say, I want to see if Heath has ever said if it ever said the word password on Twitter. So cite twitter.com. Or we could say the Cyber Mentor site, twitter.com, and start looking here. So like here I was talking about, I love political season password spraying. Like there's different things here that I talk about, and you could find that for me. So that's in text. Now we could say something more like in URL. Now in URL is going to be looking at the URL and seeing if the word password exists there. Now it's not going to for something like Twitter. Let's see if we can find URL and a password. There's not many great resources here. So it really just depends. Like these are just weird websites that are showing up. But if there's a hunch that you have something is in the URL, it's always good to know, the in URL exists. In text is probably my most commonly used one because I could just search for a term that I want to show up on that web page and I know that I need it to be there. So in text is great. But if you have the same situation with in URL, that's great. Another thing is in title. So you could say in title password. So we should pull up some results here. 439. So here in the title, you can see that password shows up. So anywhere where password shows up in title, you're good. So there's a bunch of different options that you can do here. Okay. And I think that these are great. I actually don't even know what this site is. So somebody wrote a blog on a hacking tutorial, and it looks like they've got, different types of hacking here that somehow tied into me. So it's very interesting to see some of these things when you're searching yourself and searching for other results. All right, one more thing. Last thing I want to show you. Mostly everything that I've shown you at this point is something that you can utilize on all the other search engines. So if you find difficulty or something not particularly working very well, definitely check the cheat sheets. But for the most part, everything's just about the same. Now, if you don't want to go through and deal with all the operators and remember them, which I think you should, I think it's great practice. It really helps. Those who can Google, those who can search very well, will do great things. Google has paid for my education. Google has paid for my job. Google has made me who I am today. I'm not even kidding. One of the first interviews, I'm sidetracked a little bit, but one of the first interviews I ever had, I had a job interview for a help desk position, and he said, "What would you do if you didn't know the answer?" I'd say, "Well, I'd ask somebody or I'd Google it." And his response to me was, "That's perfect. I say that I feed my family on Google." And that has stuck with me because it's really true. The better that you can do research and really hunt things down, it becomes so useful. Just beyond OSINT, beyond this here, it becomes incredibly useful. But, okay, look, all the things that we've been talking about here. We have this google.com/advanced_search. All you have to do is come in here and type the words that you want. So say we want Heath Adams. All right. So you would say this exact search, you'd put it in quotes, Heath Adams. It's telling you how to do it. Any of these words, none of these words. So maybe you don't want www like we talked about. You can come in here and say site or domain, and you say, we'll look at twitter.com, and we'll just see. Actually, we don't want to eliminate www because that might not show up anything. Then you type in an advanced search. And what's it do for you? It does it for you. It's amazing. Everything is here for you. You don't have to put in the quotes. You don't have to put in the site. And if there's things that you're trying to think about that maybe you're like, I really want to narrow this down to a language. I want to narrow this down to a region, a certain time frame, etc. And that's one other thing that I could show you too, is if you come into the tools, you can look at any time, past hour, past 24 hours. I think this is fantastic. So what have I posted in the past week on Twitter? You can see 4 days ago, 7 days ago, etc. I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can see what pictures are there. Like this is something I posted not that long ago. I retweeted this picture. So yeah, there's all different kinds of stuff. Hey, look, the OSINT course. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on out there, right? And even within the past week, even probably within the past 24 hours. So you can find different stuff about me. That's pretty interesting in yourselves or whoever you're researching. And then you have you can say all results verbatim. You can clear this out. I think it's very nice. We haven't even gotten into news or images or any of this stuff, but you can go into images and see what you can find. Can you find me? Well, that's a little provocative, but you can find funny pictures of me that are showing up on search engines, all different kinds of stuff, right? So, I mean, it's interesting. Like, that's me. That's my wife. Like, there's Udemy. There's all different kinds of stuff in here. Those are my cats. And this is just from Twitter. This is just from what I posted on Twitter. Look, there's my dog. So you can find a lot of stuff about somebody in a very short period of time with just doing some basic searches. You want to find videos about me, you can come in here, look at different videos from Twitter that I may have posted. And it's very interesting in how this all narrows down. So what I want to say and take you, I'm going to go back to the advanced search. You can do this here and really think about it. If there's a specific region or a specific time frame or a specific anything, here's the file formats that you can search for. It's all possible here. So think about how you want to search things, practice with this, play with this, improve with this. And the best